Hi everybody, TheHande here again, okay? I wasn't planning on making any more of these heavy metal album cover reaction videos, but I got a special request from none other than Kaiser to do one more of these, and he requested the Megadeth album covers. So let's go through the Megadeth album covers, and this time I promise I'll talk a little bit more about the covers themselves and not so much about the albums. And that's easy for me to do because I'm actually not that familiar with Megadeth's production. I mean, I know what the albums are. But anyway, let's get going, and let's start with their debut album, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, although here at least it says just Killing Is My Business. There are two different variants, I guess. There's one that's also has that's more like a painted version of this, and this is Johnny Rattlehead, or whatever the hell his name is, the skull guy. You know what, I actually like this. It's a very simple photograph thing. I sometimes hear people complain about this, that they don't like this, that it's not a very good cover. I personally think that the assortment here is pretty nice. It could be a bit more dynamic, but it is their first album cover. First album covers tend to be a little rough. I don't think this is that bad. I think it's actually quite striking, and you have the mascot already there in the first cover, which is nice. And let's move on to Peace Sells Who's Buying. And here we have this artistic depiction. You have the jets in the background and all the UN building in the background. Very apocalyptic, very metal. I like this. I think it's a very professional sort of thing, and you know, Megadeth has a kind of a political vibe to their music, so this suits it very well. I like the color scheme. I only had a brief look at these while I was looking for the pictures, so this one actually kind of stuck out for this kind of sticks out for me. I think this might actually be one of my favorites. So far, so good. So what? I actually have this album, and you have Johnny Rattlehead. You have him in this military getup. Honestly, this in my view looks a bit crappy. It looks kind of rushed. It kind of looks like a cheap action figure. That's the problem I have with this. This whole picture I think has a bit of a cheapness to it that I'm not really a big fan of it. I also don't like the formatting of the text. I just think it's kind of messy. Rust in Peace. You have this picture of you got George Bush there, and Gorbachev, and maybe some other world leaders there. He's holding some kind of a green gem. I don't know, is that kryptonite, and there's an alien? Alongside like Peace Sells, I think this actually is a really good album cover. I actually like the look of this very much. Yeah, it's just very clean, very professionally made. Looks very good. Then we have Countdown to Extinction. It's this guy floating in a cell. I actually like this. This is very, very striking. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the X Factor cover from Iron Maiden, and not in a bad way. I actually do like this image. It's very, very dark, bleak, hopeless. Of course, they're not having their mascot this time around, but I don't mind the fact that they kind of switch it up a little bit every once in a while. Then we have Euthanasia, the old lady. Putting the little babies on the laundry line, like as if they're laundry. I don't know. This is kind of silly, but it's a very striking image actually, and it's also very well put together. There's a lot of album covers from this period that have these kind of weird, funky visuals, but they usually do like a really bad job of compositing them together. They've done actually a really good job here. I like this. I think this is kind of funny, so that's why I really like it. Then we have Cryptic Writings. Come on, you know I don't just like random symbols. This is very low effort, I would say. Yeah, not a fan of that. It's like, simplicity can be a good thing. I suppose this does stick out because none of the ones that we've covered so far doesn't have this white color, background color, but really, it doesn't really strike me as a finished cover art. It really strikes me as like something that you would maybe scribble together as a concept. And yeah, also like Cryptic Writings, weird symbols. You know, not the most original take in my opinion. Then we have Risk, and I think this one there's also variants of this, but I'm just looking at this because I think this is supposed to be the official art. And I suppose that's the clip, because the other one also has a mousetrap, so I'm assuming this is the clip from the mousetrap. I think it's very clean. I think it's very simple. It's not bad. It's not very memorable, but it's not bad. Like I said, the color scheme like makes it stand out from the previous covers, but that's about it. Then we have The World Needs a Hero. Very gross. He's bursting out of that guy. And at first I thought that the picture that I was looking at was kind of out of focus, but then I realized, oh, it's supposed to be that way? I don't know. I don't like the fact that they try to dick around with the image. Like, I wish that it was just... actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking maybe this is one of those 3D ones. Maybe that's the reason it looks kind of funky. I don't know. This one's just kind of messy. I guess it could be a nice piece of art. Not a real gore fan myself, so yeah, I'm kind of indifferent about this one. The system has failed. Now we have the return of the classic painterly look. Yeah, and I think this looks really nice, where you also have, you know, kind of a political stylings here with George W. Bush there, and also Clinton. I think it's a very clean, very professional looking cover. I actually do like this one. Good job with this. I think this is a solid return to form after those slightly sketchier ones. Oh, and then immediately drop the ball on the next one. United Abominations. Oh boy, the art is super messed up and kind of it doesn't really gel well. Occasionally I've seen this a little bit with some of the Dio covers. Like, they're trying to be very artsy and very ambitious. I do like the everything that's going around in the background, but the angel character, for instance, just does not look very, very good. This looks like a piece of fan art more than it does like a proper Megadeth cover. I'm trying to establish whether that's a turret or if that's some kind of an off-brand dialect. The guys from Doctor Who. God damn it, what are they called? Dalek! Yeah, I'm wondering if that's supposed to be like an off-brand Dalek, or is it literally just some kind of weird turret? Yeah, I don't know. It does stand out compared to some of the 90s covers, but not a huge fan of this one either. Then we have Endgame. Actually, very nice cover. I like it. I like the people with the... I'm wondering if those are supposed to be barcodes on their heads, or if their just heads are shaped in that particular way. Yeah, I like this. It's a very clean visual, and once you look a little bit closer, you notice a lot of details, like the flies. I only just now realized that they're flies covering the sides of the image. Yeah, this has multiple levels to it. This is a really snazzy one. And then we, of course, have another album called 13, although this one came out in 2011. I don't know, I mean, this is kind of a boring album cover. I gotta be honest. Like, you look at the guy, even he doesn't want to be here. He's got his back turned. Super Collider. It's just a tunnel. And then finally, Dystopia. You know what? At first, when I looked at this, I didn't realize that's supposed to be their mascot. But now that I look a bit closer, I realize, yeah, it's kind of like a Cyber Cup version. This is kind of like giving him the Cyber Eddie treatment that Iron Maiden gave, you know, to Eddie. And he's got a big headed Lady Liberty, I suppose. Either that or that's some lady with like a robot mohawk. I like this. People already know that I like sci-fi stuff, so actually I think this is actually pretty damn cool. And that's it. This was a slightly shorter one. I only did this because Kaiser requested it. But until next time, I'm TheHande. See you on the next one.